Vitamins are essential chemical substances that are involved in all metabolic processes in every living being and are necessary for the organism to function and live.
notwendig sind, dass der Organismus funktioniert und leben kann.
Vitamins are the building blocks of life, health, and performance. What exactly makes these organic compounds so important?
Vitamins have a wide range of functions in the body. All metabolic processes are dependent on vitamins. This means that neither the carbohydrate metabolism, nor the energy metabolism, nor the protein metabolism, none of them work without vitamins in the body. Vitamins are involved in hormone production, for example. They ensure cell renewal, ensure that our genetic material, our DNA, is regenerated, and then the whole body can also regenerate.
Und sich dann der ganze Körper auch regenerieren kann.
There is actually no process in the body that can work without vitamins. That's why they are vital.
Lebensnotwendig.
How many of these vital building blocks does my horse need?
The need for vitamins depends on various factors, such as age. Young horses and older horses simply need more vitamins because more metabolic processes take place in the body. The state of training or the use of the horse also plays a role. Recreational horses that do not work as much do not need as many vitamins as a horse in high performance. If I have a horse in convalescence or is acutely ill, of course, the body has to work harder and metabolize more. That's why you need more vitamins. And the time of year also has an influence. Especially when the coat changes, the body simply needs a lot of energy and a lot of material, I'd say, to shed the old coat and produce the new one.
Not all vitamins are the same. There is a relevant difference.
There are two groups of vitamins. One is fat-soluble vitamins and the other is water-soluble vitamins. The fat-soluble vitamins need fat to be absorbed by the body. The water-soluble vitamins can be easily dissolved in the blood because they are water-based. This means that if you take fat-soluble vitamins, you have to take them because the body cannot synthesize them itself.
Die Vitamine zu sich nehmen, die muss man zu sich nehmen, die kann der Körper selber nicht synthetisieren.
The horse's body can't do that either. Then you have to feed a fat or oil in some way, or it has to be included in the diet in such a way that these substances can be dissolved in the body and then transported to the appropriate place via the blood. There are also precursors of vitamins that are absorbed through food.
Es gibt auch Vorstufen der Vitamine, die über die Nahrung aufgenommen werden.
The best known is provitamin A, also known as beta-carotene. You feed it with carrots, for example, and that's why you should always feed carrots with oil, so that vitamin A can be synthesized from the raw vitamin A and is then available again in the blood for the body.
Vitamin A synthetisiert werden kann und das dann wieder im Blut verfügbar ist für den Körper.
There are numerous vitamins, and each has its own task in the overall system of the horse's body.
There are 14 important vitamins for horses, which are divided into water-soluble and fat-soluble vitamins. The fat-soluble vitamins are vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin D, and vitamin K. And the relevant water-soluble vitamins are the B vitamins and vitamin C. Here's an overview of the 14 important vitamins. I have already mentioned the fat-soluble vitamins. I would like to briefly discuss the water-soluble vitamins again, especially the B vitamins. That's vitamin B1 and B2, then niacinamide, that's vitamin B3, chiolin, formerly vitamin B4, then pantothenic acid, which used to be vitamin B5, vitamin B6, biotin, vitamin B7, 8, then folic acid, vitamin B11, vitamin B12, one of the most important B vitamins, and vitamin C. Let's take a look at the functions and mode of action of the individual vitamins.
Die Wirkweise der einzelnen Vitamine an.
Vitamin A is really quite essential for fertility, but also for pregnancy and lactation, and also for spermogenesis in stallions, i.e. for sperm formation. This is why vitamin A is essential during the breeding season, especially when the horses are not yet out to pasture. Fresh grass contains sufficient vitamin A. However, when I start the breeding season or the mating time when the horses are not yet outside, vitamin A has to be fed to ensure that there is enough.
Draußen sind, muss Vitamin A schon zugefüttert werden, dass man es einfach ausreichend hat.
Vitamin A is also responsible for cell renewal. There are many different vitamins that play a role in this, but vitamin A and vitamin A are also essential for vision. The B vitamins are a very large group, as we have seen, and they are really involved in all metabolic processes in the horse because it is simply such a large group.
Stoffwechselvorgänge im Pferd beteiligt, weil es einfach auch so eine große Gruppe ist.
Nothing works without the B vitamins, and I would like to emphasize the vitamin B12 group a little bit because it is simply very diverse. Vitamin B12 in combination with vitamin B6, for example, is responsible for the horse's nervous system. If vitamin B12 and vitamin B6 are not sufficiently present, horses automatically become more nervous. Vitamin B12 in combination with vitamin C is responsible for the formation of L-carnitine.
B12 ist in Kombination mit Vitamin C für L-Carnitin, für die Bildung von L-Carnitin zuständig.
L-carnitine helps the muscles to generate energy, so it is simply important for performance. But vitamin B12 is also important for cell renewal, and it is important that vitamin B12 only works if cobalt is available in the body. If no cobalt is available in the body, vitamin B12 does not work. However, cobalt is usually not a problem in horses, but you can always keep that in the back of your mind.
Kein Problem ist beim Pferd, aber das kann man immer so ein bisschen im Hinterkopf behalten.
Then we also know that vitamin C is the typical immune defense vitamin. Vitamin C is essential for strengthening the immune system, especially during the transitional periods when the coat changes. And vitamin C is also heavily involved in cell renewal. Vitamin D is produced by the sun through the skin, in horses, and also in humans, and is mainly there so that calcium and phosphorus can be metabolized and enter the bloodstream and then be incorporated into the bones.
Hauptsächlich dafür da, dass Calcium und Phosphor verstoffwechselt werden können und in die Blutbahn kommen und dann auch im Knochen eingebaut werden können.
Vitamin D also ensures that excess calcium and phosphorus are excreted again. Vitamin E is an essential vitamin for blood formation, and therefore also for performance. Because if I have formed enough blood, then it also reaches all corners of the muscles, all areas, and thus the horse can also be efficient. So it's a very important element for the horse's performance.
Dadurch kann das Pferd auch leistungsfähig sein. Also es ist ein ganz wichtiges Element für die Leistungsfähigkeit des Pferdes.
It also supports the structure of the muscles, so it stabilizes the muscle and thus ensures that the muscle can simply increase in size, that muscles can simply be formed. And then vitamin K is a blood clotting vitamin, so it simply ensures that blood clotting functions properly, that the heart functions properly, and it ensures stable bones. So it's a very important vitamin, especially for young horses.
Und es sorgt für stabile Knochen, also gerade auch bei jungen Pferden ein ganz wichtiges Vitamin.
It is clear that horses are not viable without vitamins. But where do they get these essential lifesavers from?
The most important natural source is fresh grass and fresh grass. Right now in spring, May and June, when the grass is really green and full of growth, it has more than enough of all the vitamins that can be absorbed through food. You don't really need to feed it a lot of vitamins because it simply contains everything. If I make a very early cut of hay now, then I can also capture and preserve a large portion of the vitamins in the hay.
Ein Heu, dann kann ich einen Großteil der Vitamine auch in dem Heu einfangen und konservieren.
However, you also have to bear in mind that the longer the hay has been stored, the water-soluble vitamins simply decrease little by little. This is simply due to the water solubility. If I mow and dry my hay very late in the year, it simply doesn't contain as many vitamins. There are still some left.
Ja, es sind einfach nicht mehr so viele Vitamine enthalten. Es sind schon auch noch welche.
But then I definitely have to make sure when feeding hay that I add enough vitamins in mixed feeds that are mineralized and vitaminized. So it says on the declaration that the vitamins are in there. Is the horse's requirement actually covered? If I have an older horse with a slower metabolism, or a young horse that is not being fed an appropriate compound feed, then it can make sense to give it a vitamin treatment in the transition towards spring and summer.
Da aber nicht ein entsprechendes Mischfutter füttere, dann kann es schon Sinn machen, dass ich gerade so im Übergang Richtung Frühjahr, Sommer auch mal eine Vitamin.
If I notice now that he's not getting through a change well or is particularly susceptible to infections,
How do you know if you're feeding too much or too little vitamins?
you notice very, very late when the horse has a vitamin deficiency or a vitamin surplus. It can take years to notice, if you notice at all. If there is a surplus, you probably won't notice it at all in the horse's life. A deficiency can usually be recognized by the fact that the coat becomes dull, that they become a bit duller, that they are susceptible to infections, i.e. respiratory effects, that the classic, where you can then think about whether it might be a vitamin deficiency. If you use vitamin supplements for your horse, then you should actually follow the manufacturer's instructions, because you simply cannot say across the board that you have to feed 100 grams of it, and then the horse is covered, because the quantities simply vary from product to product.
Ihr müsst davon 100 Gramm füttern und dann ist das Pferd abgedeckt, weil einfach die Mengen je Produkt unterschiedlich sind.
So be sure to follow the manufacturer's instructions. If possible, spread the daily dose over 2 meals. Then the horse will simply have more of it.
Dann hat das Pferd einfach mehr davon.
Vitamins are vital for horses. Metabolic processes cannot function without vitamin E, but with a green feed, fresh pasture, and a high-quality concentrated feed that is vitaminized and mineralized, you are definitely on the safe side that the horse will not become deficient.
Auf der sicheren Seite, dass das Pferd nicht in eine Unterversorgung kommt.
Our vitamin summary. Do you want to make sure your horse gets enough vitamins? Then I have 5 tips for you. Firstly, use the pasture time as much as possible. Secondly, give your horse as much time as possible in the sun, ideally without a blanket. Thirdly, make sure your mineral feed contains enough vitamins. Fourthly, always make sure that your hay is stored in a dark and dry place. And if you have to water it, don't leave it in the water for too long. Otherwise, the vitamins will be lost. Fifthly, it makes sense to feed a vitamin supplement in addition to the mineral feed in the event of additional stress, such as a change of coat or increased demands.
Ein Vitaminpräparat zu füttern.